Hi, this is Victor Vogel, the author of Creating Bad Guy Free Zone and Creating a Bad Guy Free Zone While Traveling, which is really the emphasis of where this video is going to be. What I'd like to do is I saw a newscast yesterday on CBS this morning about tainted alcohol in Cancun, Mexico, and it brought up to my mind stuff that I emphasize in my book, stuff that I want to show you that in writing this book, there is some parallel information out there that reinforces why you need to use the concepts I'm talking about. So let's just take a quick look at the news clip that CBS ran yesterday morning.
The State Department is warning tourists about drinking potentially tainted alcohol in Mexico. The newspaper broke the story. Dozens of vacationers said they blacked out or got sick from drinking in some of the country's most popular tourist resorts. Mexican officials estimate 4 out of every 10 bottles in Mexico are contaminated. David Begnaud is in Playa del Carmen, where a Wisconsin woman died after she was found unconscious in a hotel pool. David, good morning.
Nora, good morning. On the plane ride down here, I was talking to the lady sitting beside me, and she had not heard about this travel warning. Spreading the word is why we've come here to the beaches of Mexico. In fact, news reports are part of what compelled the U.S. State Department to issue this travel warning. Look, these claims are not coming from Americans who were down some dark alley where they shouldn't have been. These are from Americans who booked vacations at all-inclusive resorts here in Mexico, including that Wisconsin woman who was found face down in a pool after drinking.
Mexico is the top international destination for U.S. travelers. Nearly 30 million Americans visited the country last year. The U.S. State Department is now warning people to consume alcohol here in moderation and get medical help if they feel sick while drinking in the country.
It's not a new concern in Mexico, but what you have here is a perfect storm of more than one incident happening to people who don't know each other in different resorts. That is definitely a reason for concern.
Back in January, Abby Connor and her family from Wisconsin arrived at the Paraíso del Mar for vacation. It is one of 10 Iberostar hotel and resorts in Mexico. By dinner time, 20-year-old Abby and her 22-year-old brother Austin had reportedly been found unconscious in the pool after drinking at the bar. Both were taken to the hospital, and Abby died days later. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports dozens of other people also claimed they were given bad alcohol at Mexican resorts, causing them to be sick or black out.
They said I couldn't get out of the pool, and I wasn't even able to stand up in the pool.
Kathy Daly says she woke up in a Cancun hospital after staying at this Iberostar hotel.
They said I was vomiting all over the place, and they had to call the hotel doctor.
More than 1.4 million gallons of tainted alcohol have been seized in Mexico since 2010. Some of the counterfeit alcohol is said to contain pure industrial ethanol, an ingredient used in many rubbing alcohols. Iberostar Hotel and Resorts told CBS News they only purchase sealed bottles that satisfy all standards.
One complaint has been a lack of urgent response from local authorities here. So if you get sick in Mexico, contact the U.S. Embassy immediately. And Gail, our travel expert says it may be hard to tell, but if you're buying alcohol in Mexico, if you can tell, make sure the bottle you got is sealed before you bought it, or the can was unopened.
Okay, that's very good advice. Thank you very much, David Begnaud.
Okay, I just want to point out, I really thank CBS this morning for running this clip. In fact, I think it shouldn't be a news story. It should probably be a public service announcement for the State Department. It should be aired on a frequent basis. What I want to point out here is that I've had a book out for about a year I've been trying to promote. Of course, I haven't been advertising or anything like that. But this book is kind of like a checklist. And some of the things mentioned in this clip are things I actually have in my book that you need to use as preparation before you travel, both domestically and internationally, but particularly internationally. And let me give you a real quick example of a segment out of the book that was mentioned in the clip, and that is the State Department or the embassy. I would venture to say out of all of the millions of people that go to Cancun that were mentioned, a vast majority of them haven't even thought about the need to download the State Department's apps on their smartphone, get online with that app, and go ahead and register an account. And every time you travel somewhere, particularly internationally, that you put into the State Department has a section in there where you can actually put your itinerary and some of your personal information, everything that you need in there. Now, why would that be the case? Well, if you're in a situation like these families were in Cancun and things are going crazy and people are going nuts around you, that's not the time to try to think about what you ought to be doing next. You should have thought about that already. And what my book does is it is sort of like a pilot's checklist about all the things you should be doing before you make these trips. And one of those is this app that I have here along with the website. And you should have already logged in and know where that embassy is with the phone number, who the ambassador is, and all that kind of stuff. And I venture to say out of all the people that I talk to who go to Cancun, none of them have any idea where the embassy is in relation to where their hotel is. And it's not in Cancun. It's not in that state area. So you need to have this information done before something happens so that you're not in the middle of trying to figure it all out. If you think about this, another thing that was mentioned is people went to the hospital and doctors. And in my book, I actually have a segment there where you can go in there and Google, and I did this in fact, I did this for a client who was going to Cancun. And I Googled, and she had with her, although she didn't have to use it, she had with her the names of the closest hospitals and the ratings of those hospitals and the telephone numbers and whether or not they took her insurance and all of that kind of. She called up and we found out whether they took her insurance and all of that kind of information. Now, if you happen to be in a situation where, say, you were hospitalized and you had to be flown back to America via medevac, which is where you have to have medical services on the plane. If you check your insurance, I'm pretty sure most insurances don't cover that. And I know Social Security, Medicare doesn't cover that. And I'm pretty sure my Humana Supplemental doesn't cover that. So you need to be aware of these things before you go on these trips. And there is in my actually in the book a website in there where along with an app, and you can go in there and look. It's called SOS, and they offer supplemental insurance for these kinds of things. It's not cheap, but if you ever had to use it, it would save you tons of money. So it's one of those kinds of things you really want to be thinking about, particularly if you're going to a third world country or someplace where the facilities may not be what they need to be. And it covers all kinds of things, your meds and all of that kind of stuff. And I have a video series on YouTube where I'm actually going through each chapter, and I'm covering everything from what you need to prepare and the documents you need, and making what you need to leave with relatives, and passwords and passcodes in case something goes wrong, transportation to and from the airport, air transportation, ground transportation, train transportation, all those kinds of things. Emergency responders, if you happen to be in Cancun or you happen to be in London, for example, where the London Bridge terrorist situation happened, the number to dial is not 911 there. So you need to have this information in hand. And this book is I printed it small enough and handy enough where you can actually go in and write all this information in right there, check things off like a pre-flight checklist for a pilot. You can check things off, put the information in. You can keep it handy. So if something happened to you and somebody else had to use this information, they would have it all there in the book. All they have to do is pull out the book, and it would all be there. The names of the people they need to contact back in the United States with their telephone numbers and everything. It would all be there handy and ready to use. So it could save you a lot of time, a lot of trouble, and a lot of headaches in a situation like these families were in Cancun, or the terrorist group, or people who experienced a terrorist attack in London, the London Bridge terrorist attack. So I'm just saying to you, I think this might be worth, I think on Amazon it sells for like about $7.25. Heck, if you travel all over the world, it's probably pretty good to have a book for every place you go. Keep them up on your bookshelf, and then if you happen to go to that place, all you have to do is pull it down. You have the information already there, and you can go back down through the checklist one more time, make sure you have everything, pack it up, throw that book in your briefcase. When you come back, if nothing happens, take it out and slip it back up on the bookshelf again. Now, why do I encourage you to buy the book? Because if you put the thing on smartphone, your smartphone goes out, gets broken, or if someone steals it, you know you don't have it. They're less likely to try to probably steal a book like this out of your purse or out of your briefcase. So I will tell you, it's better to be prepared than be paranoid. Because if you're out there and you're wondering about all this stuff, you don't know what to do while you're on vacation, then you're worried. You're not thinking. You're not, your mind isn't clear, and you are not having a totally relaxed time. So the preparation that this offers gives you the opportunity to know it's all there, and you don't have to worry about it, so you can relax about it. And then if something does happen, it's there. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have all the frustration and the bumping into each other and the confusion that goes with what that lady was explaining when they found her sort of in disarray and unconscious at the pool in Cancun. So I would encourage you to go find this. I'm going to put in the description the links where you can buy this book on Amazon.com, and my other book called Creating a Bad Guy Free Zone, How the Average Citizen Can Protect Themselves, really is kind of a good preventive tool for not just traveling, but for just protection in general, which in these days and times is important. But this book is very, very helpful for the traveler. I mean, I've used this concept in traveling myself, and it makes a lot of sense to have this information, and it's good. And there's probably more stuff you can add to it. I mean, you can go to the back cover, which the inside of the back cover is blank, and you can start adding more stuff. And you can email me at contractwithvic@gmail.com, and you can send me any kind of things you think I ought to put into that book, and I will start adding to the book as we go along, so we can all make it a little bit better for anybody else. The last thing I would ask you to do here, if you don't mind, is I would like for you to send this video to as many people as you know who travel. Go take buy the book, take a look at it, and send this video out to folks, because just the CBS alert gives you some good ideas about what you need to be thinking about prior to going in. If you have a child who's in college going to Cancun for spring break next year, they need to have this information in front of them. If they didn't see this news clip from the CBS This Morning show, my gosh, they have no idea that they may be down there and get poisoned. So, and there's a lot of other things down there. And again, like the show pointed out, or the clip pointed out, this is not people who are going down dark alleys and places they shouldn't be going in the Cancun or in the Mexican cities. These are all-inclusive resorts where you don't even have to leave the resort to have a good time. So it's just stuff that makes sense. So please, send this video out. Make it viral, post it to all your friends on Facebook, Twitter, wherever you can get friends to sign up for this thing. Encourage them to buy the book and have at least one copy so they have at least a guideline to start protecting themselves before they start traveling. Okay? Appreciate you watching this. I hope it's helpful to you. Again, the books where you can find them will be down in the description link. Make sure that's passed on in the YouTube links. This is Victor Vogel, and everywhere I'm going, I'll be creating a bad guy free zone for you.